Transforming Lives, Learning for Lifelong Knowledge and Improvement. Video 10, CLOs and PLOs for Performance-Based Funding. As we've seen from the first 9 videos, learning must not be limited to just the course content students remember after the course concludes. Nor should learning be confined to just the manipulation of subject matter students can still perform after the final exam becomes a distant memory. For continuous improvement and lifelong learning, the term learning must include the transportable, applicable learning imparted through the course learning experiences. In the last video for Guided Pathways, it is this learning of skills, habits, values, and traits needed both for success in the course and in life that are of particular interest. In this video for performance-based funding, it is the lifelong learning that is also needed for success in the course that will be the focus. As a faculty member, you likely wish there was no such thing as performance-based funding. However, as of 2020, 41 out of the 50 states have adopted or tried and abandoned performance-based funding. Note the theory behind performance-based funding. Certainly, it provides financial incentives for institutions to maximize student success, but it can also increase institutional capacity to make change. Here in California, we have the student-centered funding formula. While yet to be fully implemented, it will someday tie a portion of our funding to students passing classes and earning awards. So we need a mechanism that will identify underperformance and provide student support to improve performance that same semester. If the CLOs and PLOs are chosen appropriately, Learning Outcomes Assessment can be that mechanism. Certainly this would constitute institutional change as incentivized by performance-based funding theory. If we are to capture all our funding, then before grades are earned, we need to measure the underlying skills needed to succeed in our courses and improve them over the semester. That is, if we wish to maximize our district's funding, we need to improve the skills, habits, values, and traits students need to earn passing grades. To do this, we need to identify, articulate, message, and measure these skills through clear CLO and PLO statements, and provide these CLOs and their rubrics to the students at the beginning of the course. Then students can self-assess, immediately identifying where improvement is needed, and make that improvement before the end of the course. In earlier videos, we've seen the habits of mind used to create CLO statements. In the last video, we saw examples of this from environmental studies. Let's look at some examples from communication, curriculum acronym COMM. Example 1, CLO. The student will apply perception checking as a tool for developing empathy. PLO. The student will listen with understanding and empathy in public, interpersonal, intercultural, group, and other social contexts. ILO. Cultural awareness and humility. Let's pause for a moment to note something very important. Notice that our backward design process presented in prior videos has produced learning outcomes that embody pure skills, habits, values, and traits. They are devoid of course content. Here are the main takeaways. First, note the alignment from CLO to PLO and CLO to ILO. The CLO describes specific observable student activity. The CLO is an example of the PLO, a broader goal containing the understanding and empathy of the CLO. Finally, the PLO fits naturally under the umbrella of the ILO, cultural awareness and humility. As the student develops empathy, his sensitivity to others grows as he challenges prejudices and discovers commonalities. In terms of outcome alignment, consider this nested circle visual. The innermost circle is the CLO. Student achievement of this outcome naturally builds achievement of the PLO, the middle circle. That is, as a student applies perception checking, she naturally increases her empathy in multiple groups and contexts. And as she achieves the PLO, she naturally increases her cultural awareness and humility, the ILO and outermost circle. But how will we assess this? What kind of student activity will impart these outcomes? One specific example would be a class activity that includes a scenario that displays low empathy. In small groups, the students would discuss the scenario, providing examples of more empathetic responses. In terms of the assessment tools, this discussion would be captured and submitted with responses of appropriate empathy recorded. As before, there may already be existing assignments the instructor can leverage. In terms of lifelong learning, each student develops empathy and increased sensitivity to others. In terms of increasing the probability of passing the course, each student actively engages in the course content, working with others and improving his or her listening. These are lifelong skills, but they also help the student immediately improve his or her chances of remaining in and passing the course. Active learning, taking ownership of learning, working with others, and authentic engagement with others at a personal level will help every student pass this course, other COM courses, and all his or her other classes.
This is a particularly good example of the ultimate goal of assessing habits, values, skills, and traits, such as developing empathy. Certainly, we want to build lifelong abilities that also help students pass the classes they are currently taking, but we also want them to increase self-awareness. Ideally, by the time they complete their education with us, our learning outcomes assessment has brought them to the point of challenging their own assumptions and biases. This will help eradicate racial injustice.
Example 2, CLO. The student will apply strategies for relationship building, maintenance, and enhancement through communication. PLO. The student will apply past knowledge to new situations related to public, interpersonal, intercultural, group, and other contexts. ILO. Social awareness. Note, social awareness is not the only ILO that would work here. Certainly communication and cultural awareness and humility would be options too. Here are the main takeaways. First, note the alignment from CLO to PLO and CLO to ILO. The CLO describes specific observable student activity. This CLO is an example of the PLO, a broader goal involving using what has already been learned, applying, and extending it. Finally, the PLO fits naturally under the umbrella of the ILO social awareness as the student cultivates curiosity about and appreciation of others and their cultures, challenges prejudice, and discovers commonalities. How will we assess this? What kind of student activity will impart these outcomes? Lectures, readings, and periodicals would be appropriate ways to provide the foundational information, providing students with existing strategies. Reminder, please provide the students the CLO scoring rubric at this point if you haven't already.
In terms of the assessment tools, the work the students do, there may already be existing assignments the instructor can leverage. Perhaps an essay that was being used for a different purpose could also be used here, viewed through the lens of student learning rather than teaching, content, and grades. That is, an assignment already in play could be used as before, graded for content, and applied toward the course grade. Then the essay could be read again and scored using the rubric for this CLO.
Improving this CLO should help each student improve his or her relationships with the other students and instructor. This can't help but improve the odds of the student passing the class as he or she displays application of the course content. Building and maintaining relationships are lifelong skills, but they also help the student immediately improve his or her chances of remaining in and passing the course, increasing attachment to fellow students, the instructor, and thus the class itself. Authentic improvement of relationships will help every student live out the course content, pass this course, other COM courses, and all his or her other classes.
If learning is to be truly transformative, student self-awareness must grow. Developing skills like relationship building and maintenance are fundamental to increasing both internal and external self-awareness. This will help students through correct introspection as one of many activities to better understand themselves and others. This will build confidence, allowing students to increase their self-awareness even further through frequent critical feedback now and later in life.
Just because the CLOs in previous videos have no course content doesn't mean you can't have modifying language in your learning outcome statements. Just don't put content in them.
If all this sounds totally crazy to you, that is not surprising. This is a huge culture shift. If you are not ready to assess this way, but want to apply some of this in your classes, do that, using it to assist with engaging students and measuring your objectives, course content, and teaching.
Let's revisit the attributes of suitable CLO and PLO statements. Here they are. Each CLO needs to measure lifelong learning knowledge, a skill, habit, value, or trait that is, 1, necessary for success in the course, 2, helps form the foundation for a lifelong transportable skill set, 3, aligns with the college mission, vision, values, and equity pledge by aligning with the skills and competencies in the MSJC ILOs and at least one PLO, and 4, is articulated in language that is clear to students, instructors outside your discipline, and future employers. Here are the specific attributes. Each CLO statement will begin with the student will, followed by a measurable verb, followed by appropriate modifiers. Statements are course content free, clear to students and discipline outsiders. Alignment. Each CLO is aligned to a PLO and ILO. Each PLO is aligned to an ILO. Let's conclude with a definition of learning outcomes assessment. When objectives are used in place of outcomes, we emphasize student knowledge and often unconsciously limit that knowledge to the course content. In these videos, we are emphasizing core skills, values, habits, and traits. That is, we are extending student knowledge from that of the course content to the lifelong learning that is being imparted through successful assimilation of the course content. Hopefully, you are starting to see that this broad definition of student knowledge is the one we need for ongoing, meaningful institutional improvement and ensuring transportable, applicable, lifelong learning for our students. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. For more videos, visit the Transforming Lives channel.